The email landed like a grenade at 8:47 a.m., shattering the hum of the office. Subject line, urgent. Code violation threat to community standards. I froze, coffee mug halfway to my lips, as Sarah Nguyen, my deputy, let out a low whistle and swiveled her monitor toward me. The screen glowed with 5 pages of venomous all-caps prose, accusing my property of feral overgrowth and anarchist disregard for CIVY Liz aesthetics. 32 attachments blinked like EVY Denke markers. Close-ups of my rain barrel labeled biohazard, a grainy shot of my mailbox tilted by last winter's storm, and most audacious a photo of my cat napping on the porch, captioned unsanctioned wildlife. The signature at the bottom burned into my retinas. Margaret Hensley, President, Pinewood Estates, HOA. I choked on a laugh, spilling coffee on my desk. Margaret Hensley, the self-crowned queen of suburbia, a woman who'd once sent a cease and desist to a neighbor for planting marigolds instead of petunias. Her pastel cardigans and razor-sharp bob were as legendary as her vendettas against unpruned hedges and VY Cybele trash bins. I ran code enforcement for the city of Westbridge had, for 7 years, and Margaret, in her infinite hubris, had just reported me to myself. Boss, Sarah said, smirking, she's got no idea you're the one reading this, does she? Nope, I replied, wiping my chin. And I'm not about to enlighten her. Not yet. My name's Daniel Harper, and I'd tangled with Margaret before. 2 summers ago, she demanded I rip out my native pollinator garden milkweed and coneflowers buzzing with bees because it clashed with her VY shown of manicured lawns. I'd refused, citing city ordinances she couldn't counter. She'd retreated, but her silence had festered, and now here she was, claws out, thinking she'd caught me in her trap. What she didn't know was that I held the keys to the bureaucratic kingdom she was trying to storm. The complaint could have been shuffled to a junior officer, buried in paperwork, forgotten. But Margaret's email wasn't just a rant, it was a declaration of war. Her HOA presidency gave her sway over Pinewood Estates, a gated enclave where she ruled like a feudal lord, fining residents for unapproved paint colors or a single weed daring to sprout. I leaned back, savoring the irony. She'd handed me a loaded gun, and I wasn't about to misfire. Send it to JVY, I told Sarah, grinning. Let's see how this plays out. The next morning, JVY Morales, our most unflappable field officer, pulled into my driveway in his city-issued pickup. He was a bear of a man, fond of loud aloha shirts and calling everyone amigo, but his easy smile hid a razor-sharp eye for detail. I stayed clear to keep the ruse alive, watching from my home office VY the doorbell cam. Right on cue, Margaret swooped in from across the street, her sun hat bobbing like a vulture circling carrion. She clutched a leather binder, her manicured nails flashing as she launched into a lecture before JVY's boots hit the pavement. That's the woman who'd ticket a sunset for being too colorful, JVY would tell me later, chuckling. Swear she's got a grudge against joy itself. Margaret led him around my yard like a prosecutor at a crime scene, pointing out violations, a patch of clover she deemed invasive, a cracked patio slab from the Reagan era. My rain barrel, she insisted, was a mosquito-breeding dystopia. JVY nodded, scribbled notes, and kept his cool. My property was clean, meticulous, even. I made sure of it after our last run-in. But JVY didn't just inspect my place. He cast a casual glance across the street at Margaret's pristine estate. Her lawn's so perfect it looked like CGI. Nice shed back there, he said, nodding toward her backyard. Got the permits for that. Margaret stiffened, her smile tightening. It's a replacement, she said quickly. Original structure, just refurbished. No permits required. JVY snapped a photo, jotted a note, and flashed his trademark grin. Just checking, ma'am. City's got to keep things tight. By noon, his report hit my inbox. My property was spotless, no violations. Margaret's, though, a ticking bomb. That refurbished shed was brand new, unpermitted, and just the tip of the iceberg. Sarah dug into Margaret's file, and by lunch, we had a gold mine. 3 years of unpermitted work garage expansion, a guest bathroom with sketchy plumbing, a pergola 6 inches over the property line. Each violation was a chink in her armor, and I was ready to swing. I drafted the inspection notice myself, signing it with a flourish. Daniel Harper, Director of Code Enforcement. It was polite, professional, and sharp as a scalpel. Margaret received it Tuesday morning. The silence that followed was deafening until my phone rang at 2:13 p.m. Code Enforcement, Harper speaking. A pause, then her voice low and unsteady. "You're the director?" "Yep," I said, leaning back. "Got your complaint, Margaret. Very thorough. We'll be inspecting your property Thursday to ensure compliance." I swear I heard her gasp. What followed was a masterclass in unraveling. Margaret tried everything, stalling, claiming bias, threatening to sue. She fired off emails to the mayor, city councilors, even a local news anchor, accusing me of a vendetta. Sarah printed her meltdown for posterity, taping the best bits to the office fridge. "She spelled tyranny with 2 R's, Sarah cackled. "This woman's unhinged." Margaret didn't know I'd already outmaneuvered her. 2 years back, I'd filed an ethics complaint against Mayor Ellison over a shady zoning deal. He'd lost face, and he hadn't forgotten. If Margaret thought he'd ride to her rescue, she was dreaming. Ellison called me Wednesday, voice oily. "Dan, maybe go easy on her. Optics, you know." "Happy to," I said coolly. "Put it in writing, and I'll consider it." He hung up, muttering, "Checkmate." Thursday morning, Javi hit Margaret's property like a surgeon. No fanfare, just quiet precision. Margaret greeted him in a cream blazer, her binder tabbed like a war manual. She was all smiles at first, offering iced tea, praising his professionalism. But as Javi's checklist grew in permitted shed, pergola adding setback rules, bathroom venting straight into the attic, her facade cracked. She spun wild excuses. The pergola was temporary art, the bathroom a storage closet. Javi photographed, noted, and left with a smile. His report was a masterpiece. Violations stacked high enough to bury her. Margaret went nuclear, flooding inboxes with 800-word screeds about government overreach and personal persecution. She even tried a Freedom of Information Act request for my personnel file, hoping to dig up dirt. Sarah sent it over 6 years as director, 2 commendations, a transparency award circled in red. "Framed this yet?" Sarah asked, grinning. Then the neighbors turned. 3 anonymous complaints landed against Margaret within 24 hours. One for illegal parking, another for a fence painted without HOA approval, a third alleging she'd harassed a retiree over his bird feeder. Sarah uncovered a gem: Margaret had never registered her HOA presidency with the state, rendering her fines legally void. I tipped off the Pinewood Estates Facebook group, linking the bylaws and complaint forms. By Friday, a special HOA meeting was set. Margaret fought like a cornered animal. She posted a 700-word rant on the neighborhood app, quoting zoning codes, the Constitution, and inexplicably thorough. "This is about freedom," she declared. Comment split. Some residents cowered. Others clapped back, sharing photos of her violations, a Halloween skeleton she'd find, a kid's chalk drawing she'd called vandalism. She deleted the post, but screenshots spread like wildfire. Her emergency HOA meetings flopped. Her board, exhausted by her tirades, started to crack. At one meeting, a resident stood up, voice shaking. "Why should we listen to someone who fined my kid for flying a kite?" Margaret deflected jealousy, sabotage, urban decay. But the tide had turned. The vote came Wednesday night, packed with residents. Margaret stood at the front, clutching her binder, her knuckles white. She tried to speak something about legacy and standards, but the chair cut her off. Votes rolled in, unanimous. Margaret Hensley was out. She didn't scream or cry. She just walked out, heels clicking into the night. By Friday, her blinds were drawn, her yappy terrier silent. A realtor's sign sprouted in her yard by noon, listing scrubbed of her pergola and bathroom chaos. Movers came Saturday, and neighbors peeked from curtains as her life was boxed up. Ja VY confirmed compliance shed flagged. Bathroom sealed. Margaret was gone. The new HOA president, Carla Ruiz, a paramedic with a no-nonsense VYB, kicked off her first meeting with a promise. Let's keep it friendly. The crowd cheered. A block party followed lemonade. Live music, kids running wild. Someone hung a banner. Live and let lawn. Ja VY tossed me a beer, grinning. You planned this, didn't you, amigo? Just doing my job, I said, clinking his bottle. Margaret's appeal to City Hall fizzled. She tried one last ransom thing about tyranny in a coral blazer, but her house sold fast. Her fines voided. Dulaw 14,000 returned to residence. Carla's counsel slashed dues and opened the books. A neighbor's tacky flamingo statue stood proud, unmolested. Back at the office, I hung Margaret's complaint on my wall, the cat photo circled in red. A reminder, sometimes the smallest battles win the biggest wars. If you were the one in this story, how would you react? Would you stand up and fight back, or accept the unreasonable pressure and control from the HOA? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video with more people. Your small action gives us the motivation to keep bringing you more intense and engaging stories. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.